Hello all. As you could see, I'm in my holiday sweater. We had our family brunch today, which was really fun. It was 12:30 to, I left there at like 4. But rewinding to last night, my friend was out with her boyfriend at a place that's only like 10 minutes up the road from me. And she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm making bracelets and keychains." And she said, "Well, get your ass dressed and get here. There's a guy here I think would be perfect for you." So I'm like, I'm really not in the mood. I've been doing things all day and I haven't showered or anything. And she's like, "So what? Just put your hair up and makeup on." And I was like, I really, plus I had a slight headache. I'm really not in the mood. So she's talking, she goes, "Oh, I think this guy would be great. He's like 6 foot, blah, 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 blah." So she's like, "Oh, can I give him your number?" So I was like, "Sure, why not? What the heck?" So she's like, "He's tall, good looking, blah, blah, all this stuff." Okay. So then, she said, "Oh, he left. He said he's going to call you as soon as he gets home." So he did call me. At first, the call kept dropping, which was annoying. So then I went in my bedroom and the call didn't drop. And we talked between the call drops and everything over 3 hours. Great conversation, everything. And he's like, and you know what? He's like, "I'm a big guy, he's tall, I'm a little wide, but I carry my weight well," all this stuff. And we talked. I was like, "Listen," I was like, "I'm 5'8". I told him I'm a size 16. I said, consider myself curvy, whatever. He's like, "Oh, great." My friend showed him a picture of me. He's like, "Oh my God, she's beautiful, blah, 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 blah," which made me feel good. And so then he said, he had his family, his niece's engagement party today. So I said, "Well, I have my family brunch." So he said, "Where do you want to go when I take you out?" And he goes, and I was like, "Oh, really don't know the restaurants." He goes, "Did you notice I said when, not if?" And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "I did, And he's like, "Oh, you're so easy to talk to, this, that, and the other thing, all this stuff." And so I said, "Yeah, you too." And so he knew, light hair, you could tell, light hair, everything. So while I was on the way to the brunch, he said, "Hello, hope you have a good time at your, today. I'll call you when I get home from the party." So I didn't see that until, and as I pulled up, boom, as I'm going to look at his message, there's another message. And it said, I don't know exactly, but if you wanted to meet me at the Brass Rail, I'll be here. Just let me know. So I said, so I said, "Thanks for the, have a nice time." And I said, "That sounds nice. Let me know what time." And he said, "I should be here till about 6, but if you're going to come, I'll stay later." So I said, "No, I should be able," and I didn't answer him at first. And then I said, "Okay, sounds good. I'll let you know." And then I knew as the time was going on, and I was like, "Oh, I should be out of here around 4. And he goes, "Oh, great." So then when I left, I said, "I'm on my way. Just have to warn you that, I'm in my holiday attire for my brunch and my hair's a little frizzy from the weather." So he goes, "I'll see you soon." So I get there and I go over to him. And as soon as I saw his face, I knew he was like, not for me. So I hugged him, and I don't think he was wanting that. It was just my natural instinct. And I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I need to go to the ladies' room. I drank a little too much water and coffee." He's like, "Oh, sure. Okay." So then when I came back, he's like, "Oh, I have to settle my bill." And I'm like thinking, settle his bill? does he think we're leaving or what? You know, I was a little confused by that, but okay. So then he goes, oh, I had to, you know, pay the bill for the party. And I was like, oh, that was nice. He's like, yeah. And so I walked around. He was like, oh, let's go this way. So I did. I went to sit, you know, kind of this way. And he's like, oh, no, let's sit over here. Then he's like, oh, this is my brother-in-law. I think Kerry was his name because I said Terry. He goes, Gary, or maybe he said Gary. I don't know. It was a little loud in there. He's like, oh, nice to meet you. Shakes my hands and everything. This is my sister-in-law, his wife. I don't remember her name. And then as people were coming over, then his son comes over. And he's like, oh, don't worry about me. I'll get a ride home. So, okay. So I'm thinking, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, Kyle, this is Terry. Terry, this is Kyle. Now he's introducing me to his son. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have, first of all, I didn't realize the party was there and I was going to be walking into his relatives still being there. And he introduces me. So I just got this, didn't get a vibe, like a connection. And I'm trying to talk to him and I was struggling. It was so easy on the phone, but I was struggling for the words to talk to him like this. And then he at one point got up, walks away, doesn't say, oh, I'll be right back or nothing. Claims he's a gentleman. If you're a gentleman, you would have said, oh, excuse me, you know, I'll be right back. So he just gets up, walks away, and his brother-in-law, even when we were sitting there, his brother-in-law was like, you know, making jokes and talking to me, and I'm laughing. He's like, oh, he goes, you're so fun, and, you know, whatever, and we're talking. And then when he got up, his brother-in-law was, you know, oh, you know, it's not easy. You know, oh, I'm too old for this, because they wanted him to chug a beer. He's like, I can't chug a beer. I'll be throwing up, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So he looked like he, you know, he stopped, talked to some people, and then he went like he was going to the bathroom, but he came back too quick. And he came over and he sat down, and his son is to my left, his brother-in-law is next to him, and his niece is standing up behind her father, and then his, you know, sister-in-law, and his wife passed away. So this is his wife's family. So he turned around and says, you know, turns to me and he says, I don't want to be a jerk or anything. I just want to be honest. I'm really looking for someone more like my wife, and I don't think you're it. And just want to be honest. I'm not trying to be a jerk. And I was like, oh, no, no worries. You know, was I hurt? Absolutely. But I turned around and I was not going to let him see that I was hurt. I was like, oh, no worries. I was like, you know, I wasn't feeling the vibe. I got that right away. You know, I knew this was not, you know, a connection. He's like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I was like, you didn't. Like I said, it's mutual. There's no vibe there. And I don't know if there was no vibe there because I got a vibe off of him that not interested, and because he really wasn't talking. And so I didn't like, I asked him, I said, so, he goes, oh, so you have work tomorrow? I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, I said, do you have work tomorrow? He's like, I don't know if I'm going in. I do what I want. I'm like, okay. Came across a little arrogant, like, hey, I can do what I want, you know. Oh, you're yawning. So I didn't sleep very good because I was on a high last night from the conversation. And my friend called me to ask about the conversation. So that was like another hour conversation. So I didn't get to sleep till after 1. And there's a bug on my ceiling, and that is not good. But so here I was a little thrown by the fact that his family's still there, his son. And then he turns to his brother-in-law. Before he said all this, I knew because, well, the bartender said to him, oh, New Year's Eve, we're having, you know, open bar all night. unlimited food, buffet food, and appetizers, you know, entrees. And he said $100. And he goes, oh, he goes, I just, you know, there's not a flyer up yet. I like to let our regulars know. So he's a regular there. He says, but, so that didn't impress me. You know, if you're a regular there sitting there on the bar stool drinking, that doesn't impress me. And so then he says, oh, sure, count me in. I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, okay, he's not doing anything. So I'm definitely getting the right vibe that he's not interested. So then turned around and when he settled, I was like, listen, it's fine. He goes, oh, I hope you don't have far to go. And I'm like, he goes, oh, I'm sorry to make you come all the way here. I was like, you didn't. This is on my way home. I just have to go up Texas Road. And he's like, oh, you know, I hope you don't have far to go home. I said, no, I'm just up Texas Road. I'll be fine. Well, you say you're a gentleman, and he goes, oh, I feel really bad. You don't know how much this bothers me because you're a really nice lady. Also, but I'm really looking for someone that looks, you know, more like my wife. And I'm like, thinking like, my friend showed you my picture. And now I'm really curious what his wife looks like. So then, sorry. So I put my jacket on and he's like, you have far to go? I said, no, like I said, I'm right up the road. And he's like, I'm sorry. I said, don't be sorry. It's fine. Like, we wouldn't know if there's a connection or not until we met, and there's not. It's mutual, so don't worry about it. So everybody's like, his son looked down, his brother-in-law looks the other way. They're all like not making eye contact with me. And so I put my jacket on. And if you're a gentleman, you would have said, let me walk you to the door. I would have said, no, I'm fine. Stay with your family. I think it's a little weird that he asked me to come there when he knew all his family would be there. He introduced me to all his family. Like my friend said, who, you know, arranged all this, she's like, she's really pissed off. And she's like, so I had to Google his wife. I mean, she died, whatever. Didn't know. My friend has this thing because she has a business, so she can look up people. But their phone number. So she looks him up. She gets me his last name. I look up. I go for her, you know, who's related, and so I look it up. And his wife was several years older than him. Like, let's see, 4 years. Like 4 years older than him. So, which isn't a lot, but she was older than him. And he did tell me that he met this woman the Friday after Thanksgiving. They went out. Took her to dinner. He thought everything went good. They went out a second, and then that weekend went out again. Then I think Sunday, and then that week, next week, they went out, and then he said that she, you know, wasn't answering my text or whatever. He left her a message, and she texted him and said, "Listen, dude, get the hint. I ghosted you." So he's like, I don't understand that. I was like, no, you know, it's stupid. You know, just say, like, sorry. I started talking to, you know, I was talking to someone else when I was talking to you, or I started talking to someone else. I'm more interested in them. Whatever. Just say it. Don't just, you know, ghost the person. So we had that. But when I was talking to so I look up his wife's obituary, and there's a picture, and she does, first of all, she smoked. So her teeth are not great. And she looks older than what she is. And that could be from smoking. And usually you pick the best picture. And she doesn't look thin. You know, I told him I'm a size 16. She does not look thin. I mean, she doesn't look heavy, but she doesn't look thin. But she's dark hair, dark eyebrows. And I'm like, you knew I wasn't. And his wife, I found out from my friend, is only 5'1". I'm 5'8". So if you wanted a much shorter person, maybe same build as me, but shorter. If you wanted a dark-haired person, you saw my picture. He even seen a full-length picture. So I honestly don't get it. Also, so he seems so concerned about me getting home okay, being upset. I'm like, I'm not upset. It's fine. Was I? Yes. But was I going to let him know I was upset? No. And he came across a little arrogant and cocky, like, oh, I'm upsetting you. We just met. We talked for 3 hours on the phone. Yes, but we just met. And you're not all that. He's like, I'm so good looking. And my friend said he was more good looking than Frank. He goes, oh, it's just like Frank, but better looking. And I'm like, no, my Frank was better looking. So I sent my friend the picture, and right away she called and she goes, Joe said to call you because you are so much more prettier than her. And, you really, you are so, it's his loss. And so that was nice of her and, her boyfriend to say. And she's like, and my friend is like, I agree. You're so much prettier than his wife. And so if you're truly a gentleman and truly were worried about me getting home, well, 1, you would have walked me to the door. 2, you would have texted me. I said, no, I'm only up the road, but it'll take me at the most 10 minutes. You should have, but his eyes were all bloodshot. And his brother-in-law said, oh, God, I've had about 15 of these, so you know what I'll be doing? Going home, walking the pubs, and passing out. And he goes, I'm going to bed. I was like, you mean passing out? And he's like, yeah, but when he said he had 15, this guy says, oh, I probably had just many. I don't know. I lost track. And while I was there, he was on his 3rd beer. Like, he was finishing his 2nd, and the bartender's giving him a 3rd. So, and he did turn to his brother-in-law. He's like, how are you getting home? And he's like, Kyle. And that's his son. And he says, oh, who's all going? And he's like, oh, Michael, this one. He's like, you think there's room in the car for me? And I knew. I'm like, oh, he's trying to get the hell out of there. And you should have never invited me there with your family there. You should have said, my family is going to leave around this time and whatever. He even said, oh, you want something to eat? And I was like, oh, no. I said, maybe he didn't like the fact that I didn't have a drink. Because I said to him, I don't drink that much or whatever. Maybe he didn't like that fact. My hair is much lighter. His wife's hair is like black. So very dark. Eyebrows very, black or extremely dark brown. Same thing with the hair. So I don't know. Just baffled. And the picture that my friend showed was at Thanksgiving. So it's a recent picture. And my friend Mary's like, I saw you not too long ago. I think you look the same. And I'm like, yeah. So I don't know. I just don't get guys. So, and I think ignoring to-date guy, he was like blowing up my phone last night when I was talking to this guy. Of course, I didn't answer him. And then I answered him when I got off the phone. And I said, good night, because he said, oh, good night. I guess you're asleep or whatever. So I just said, good night. And then this morning, he's like, oh, good morning. He's up my butt. And a lot of my friends say that. Guys and girls, ignore it. The guys are like, when a woman ignores us, we're like, oh, is she out with someone else? What is she doing? And two-date guys like, oh, next weekend, And I was counting on this guy being something. So I deleted my POF account just because, like I said, I need a break. I don't think two-date guy is, I think he's Mr. Good enough for right now. Maybe it will become something. I mean, we've only been on 2 dates, and I really want to spend more than a few hours with him. Like, I want to go out for the day, and I can't do that Saturday. I can't even do that Sunday. So I don't know. I just, like, there's going to be no one else unless I meet someone myself. But again, I don't want to meet someone at a bar. Why do I want to meet someone at a bar? Because like this guy, if he was just there the one night, but he's a regular. So does he sit there drinking all the time? Probably. And by him saying 3 times, I was looking for someone more like my wife, tells me he's not over his wife yet. So, my chin is shiny. Yeah. So that tells me that he's not over his wife. I don't think at all. I don't think he realizes he's not over his wife. Says, if you're looking, and I said, he's looking for something he's not going to find, because there's no one exactly like his wife, except his wife, who is no longer alive. So, and that's why my sister-in-law's mom, 58, her husband died. Bob was a great guy. And she said, I didn't want to date him because I'd be comparing everybody to Bob, who was a fabulous husband and father. And it's not fair to somebody to keep, comparing them to Bob. And that's what this guy is doing. And I don't know, I'd love to see what this woman that he went on 3 dates with and then ghosted him looked like. I really would. So, and this guy just lost like 75 pounds. And he's like, I have another 30. So maybe he thinks he's all that now. Who knows? Maybe his wife was a bigger woman and shorter, and he likes that. Or he's thinking, I want someone like my wife. That was just a bullshit line. Maybe he wants somebody that is, now that he's lost the weight, he's like, I can get someone thinner, hotter. Maybe he doesn't, the woman that he went on the date with, I keep saying Thanksgiving weekend, because it was the Friday and Sunday, and then the next week, she was older. She was like 62, something like that. And he's 59. He's not going to be 60 till next August, so he just turned 59 in August. Maybe she looked older. And my friend was like, maybe you look too young. Maybe he likes an older woman. And there are some. And his wife, like I said, she smoked and she did look older than her age. So lots of wrinkles. And not that I'm free of wrinkles, but she had a lot of, crow's feet, as they say. She had a lot. Not that, I have this, but she had a lot of wrinkles here, wrinkles under her eyes. And that, and in wrinkles like up here, and that was usually your obituary picture. You pick like the best picture of the person. So, I mean, the poor woman did die of cancer, so I feel so bad for him. 30 years married, and he went through hell with her. And I don't know. I'm baffled, but I'm a little disappointed in him that he did not walk me to the door, number one. Well, offer to, because I wouldn't have let him. And I'm a little disappointed that he didn't text me and say, hey, again, sorry, just want to make sure you got home okay. You couldn't have been that concerned about me. And I don't think I've heard the last of him, and I'm usually pretty good at this. And I don't know why he will reach out, but I have a feeling he will. Maybe tomorrow, because maybe he had too much to drink, and he's going to apologize and say, I had too much to drink, and, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought you there with my family all laid into me. I hope they did. That's the one thing. I hope they all said, what the hell? You bring her here, you introduce her to everybody, and, I mean, this poor girl, and then you're like, oh, sorry, it's not working for me. So, But like I said, I deleted my POF because I just can't deal. I said I didn't want to get involved till after the holidays. I don't. I want to get back to the gym. I want to work on me. And so, like I said, I don't know. I'm not saying Dave isn't that's the 2-date guy. Sorry. I don't think I've said his name. I try not to say names, but that just kind of blurted out. The 2-date guy, I'm not saying, like, I enjoy his company, I enjoy talking to him and everything, but I really think he's looking, I think for him, I'm Mrs. Good Enough right now. And I think that he is looking for someone that's ready to retire. Because he keeps saying, oh, when do you think you'll retire? So I really think he's looking for someone because he doesn't work, because he's on permanent disability. I mean, I think he's 59 too. And so I don't know. It's just, I have to look at it this way. Rather than sitting here doing nothing, had a great conversation on a Saturday night for 3 hours. And he thanked me for a very special Saturday night and all this. So maybe he just doesn't know what he wants yet. I don't know. But I'm just slightly disappointed. Like I said, I text my friend, like, I don't think this is going well. I'm not feeling the vibe. And I was on Do Not Disturb, so I didn't see until, and she's like, what? Why? And I said, call me if you want. And then I told her, and I almost cried. I almost did. But I think talking to her made me feel better. And her saying, even when she saw the picture in the obituary, she's like, oh my God, you're so much prettier than her. And she looks much older. She goes, then that, because she looked up her thing. And so she's, like I said, she's like 4 years, 4 years older. But my friend's like, she looked older. She looks older than 4 years older than him. And so did, but I'm like, she smoked. So when you smoke, and sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but my brother is the only one out of the 5 of us that smokes. And everybody thinks he's the oldest. Because he smokes. And he's like more wrinkly and stuff. So I don't know. But that was my day. And my brunch was great. I gave my aunt the picture of my grandmother holding Finn, her grandson. I came home, finished the 1 bead because I didn't get to finish it last night because it was on the phone. Keychain. Sorry. Oh, I haven't eaten dinner, but I'm full from lunch. But I am getting a little hungry, and it's after 7, so I think I'm going to have a little something. But hope everybody's weekend was good. And now, and like my friend said, I'm not wasting, talking to this guy. If I didn't meet him today and we went to dinner, that would be very awkward without there being a connection there. And maybe someone said, oh, you should meet her for a coffee or something before, you go out to dinner. So I was looking forward to a nice dinner because the place he was going to take me is really nice. But what are you going to do? So, I don't know. But, again, hope everybody's weekend was good. And tomorrow's another day. So, talk to y'all later. Bye.